Without resurrection, Jesus' death would have just been another crucifixion. Rome did it all the time for the worst of their traitors and thieves and treasonous folk. But the resurrection makes us go back and say, wait, what happened here at the death? And again, Mark really ends just as abruptly as he began and just as quickly. And he leaves us really with a question. Of course, the good news is he's risen. And the women receive this good news and are to go and tell. They're the first evangelists, if you will, the first sent with this good news. They haven't seen him yet, but they've been told. And so now go and you tell likewise. And so Mark, and of course we have what's called the short ending of Mark and the longer, and most of your Bibles will indicate that. And it's interesting. We don't understand how that developed, but we know from early times, like by the early 2nd century, there was already discussion of Mark's got two endings and one's longer and sounds a lot like the other ones. But the short ending is kind of that the women went in fear. And this idea of fear, this idea of question of who he is and will you listen and will you follow and will you go and tell the good news? In a way, Mark does something that the other Gospels doesn't do, in that he leaves this question just right in front of us. You've heard the good news. This is Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Now, will you follow him? Might not just follow him, but will you go and tell others? And I think that's the power of Mark. He can be faulted for his simplicity. He's unsophisticated in his Greek. It's told jarring and jolting and very abbreviated. But in the end, it's packed a tremendous punch in presenting Jesus in his most bare and true and authentic self, and ultimately leaves us with the question, well, this is the good news of Jesus. This is what the Christ is. This is what the Son of God, who the Son of God is. Now, will you obey? Will you go and preach the kingdom, the good news of the kingdom? And so that's the question that this gospel leaves.